if you're new, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cassandra. Today I'm bringing you guys into my real life kitchen, and we're just going to be doing a little bit of chatting today. We are almost all the way through with freezer pantry challenge. My main goal was to just eat through my freezers, get through some old things, and if there were some old like really old produce that we grew from like 2021, 2022, or 2023 that we hadn't eaten, I wanted to get it thawed out and give it to the chickens. Well, we are in the middle of a polar vortex here. Schools have been canceled Thursday, Friday, today is Monday, also canceled. They also canceled for tomorrow already, and we're on standby for cancellations on Wednesday. How cold it is. I think last time I checked was a couple hours ago. It could have warmed up, but when I did chicken chores this morning with the wind chill, it was negative like 34 or something like that. It was very cold. So today I'm bringing you guys through my kitchen because if it's going to be super cold, it is a great time to pull those things out of my freezer that I really wanted to give to the chickens. When it's really cold like this, a good way to keep your chickens warm and from literally freezing is by feeding them. The more food they have, it takes energy to have their digestive system running and working to digest all of that food, and it helps keep them warm. So I'm gonna bring you guys through. I've got lunch cooking. I'm gonna show you what I'm cooking for lunch, show you guys what I pulled out of my freezers basically for the next 2 days. Tomorrow I am doing a big like canning, preserving, all sorts of things day. Of course, I will bring you guys along with me for that. You can probably see one of those projects we're gonna be working on right there. So let's start with what I'm cooking for lunch, and then we'll move into some projects and things I'm pulling out of my freezers just to clear out space. Of frozen raviolis from the freezer, and I had a half jar of this tomato basil garlic pasta sauce in the fridge, so we got rid of this, which is great. Also pulled a bag of corn that we preserved out of the freezer, left on the cob. We are kind of heating that up, and this is going to be lunch, hopefully along with some fresh bread that the kids helped me make this morning, and then we made an afternoon snack right away of some cinnamon rolls, so that'll be afternoon snack. With our cinnamon rolls, I had some leftover cream cheese frosting. That's just a drop of dye, like coloring, what is that called, food coloring that got stuck in there. This is left over from the holidays. We're gonna use this up, so I pulled it out to get to room temperature so we can spread it on our cinnamon rolls. One project I'm gonna work on tomorrow is pickling some northern, and I needed some hot peppers for our pickling liquid, so I pulled these out of the freezer. The rest of them I'm going to throw in the dehydrator, and we're gonna make chili flakes out of these. These are mostly like tiny jalapenos. I have a couple really small bell peppers that at the end of the season just didn't have time to get big, but I picked them anyways. And we're just gonna make chili flakes or pepper flakes out of these. So this is a preservation project we're gonna be doing. Well, they got pushed to the back of the freezer. It happens sometimes. The chickens are gonna get these. This is really old turkey meat, you can see, from March 1st of 2024. That's why we're gonna be canning our turkey from now on instead of putting it in the freezer. This is just not great. It's been in there for over a year. It's not gonna taste good, but the chickens will love this. Protein will help them, A, stay warm, fill their bellies, but also hopefully get our chickens laying again. Another thing the chickens are getting, I found this way in the bottom of our game freezer. This is some venison tips that just got lost. Once again, chickens will absolutely love those. This is a chunk of ham from not 2024's Christmas, but 2023's Christmas. Once again, chickens will love that. Lots of protein here for them. And then we just grew too much cabbage last year, and I saved a whole head to make roly-polies and then never made them. We've been looking for a large fermentation crock for a very, very long time. We finally found one at an antique shop. It was in perfect condition. It's 12 gallons, and that means this year all of that cabbage we grow, not a lot of it is going to end up in the freezer. I'll probably freeze about a gallon of it because I love fresh cabbage throughout the winter to throw into soups, stews, crock pot meals, but also just buttered cabbage as a side is one of my favorite things. But the rest of it, we're going to be making our own sauerkraut out of it for the first time. We make sauerkraut with my in-laws every year with their crocks, but this is the first year we're going to be doing it on our own, which is so exciting. Bagels I didn't know I had in the freezer up here. This is great with the kids being off from school for so many days, kind of like unexpectedly. We can use these for breakfast. We can use these to make little pizzas out of. So I pulled these out. We will definitely use those. This is also stuff, this cheese I came out of the bottom of a chest freezer. It's a Mexican style blend. I can't even remember the last time I've bought this, but I figured tonight let's make chicken quesadillas. So I have these 2 half bags of chicken here, and these are gonna be the chicken. I don't have any tortillas, so I'm gonna have to make some fresh tortillas this afternoon, but that's a-okay. Getting a lot of stuff out of the freezer, pulling out a project, and then last couple things I pulled out of the bottom of my chest freezers. I pulled out a thing of mozzarella slices and cheddar slices. These are gonna be just for good old sandwiches. I have a lot of lunch meat in my freezer right now, lots of bread, so this will be great, especially if the kids are gonna keep being off from school. And then when they are going back to school, it'll be great for lunch boxes. So there's that. I have 2 turkeys. I only pulled out 1. I'm gonna put this in the roaster pan tomorrow, let it defrost all today, overnight in the sink, and then put it in the roaster pan tomorrow, roast it up, cook it. We're gonna have dinner with this tomorrow. I'm gonna make a pot pie, and then the rest of it we're going to can up. So I'm very excited about that. And then the very last thing I pulled out of my freezers, I save all of my homemade bread, all of our homemade rolls that don't get eaten. I'm gonna let these kind of thaw out, and we're gonna make breadcrumbs out of these and put them back in the freezer. We're gonna mix some of these with some Italian spices to make an Italian breadcrumb for meatballs and things, and the rest of them we will leave plain. The very last thing we kind of have I don't want to say thawing or defrosting, but that's what it is. My husband spent the last 2 days fishing, ice fishing. He came home with lots of fish. They were frozen because he left them outside in the back of his truck. But we have lots of bluegill here. We have a couple pike here. These are the fish we're going to be pickling in the next couple of days. And then my husband has a bluegill crab ragoon recipe he wants to try. And I have a lot of cream cheese in my freezer, which should be great for that. So that's what all of this fish is destined to be. My husband's ice fishing right now. He's going for crappie on a different lake. And hopefully that means he'll be coming home tonight and we'll be doing fried fish with some homemade potato wedges from our homegrown potatoes. But if not, I have a backup plan of some of these quesadillas that we'll do. Some of my stuff defrosted a lot faster than I anticipated it to, so I decided to just kind of seize the day and take care of some of these things. And let me tell you, I'm very happy I decided to get these done, because the very next day, what I can only assume was the norovirus hit our household, and it has slowly been making its way through the house ever since. And when I mean slowly, I mean very slowly. The first person got sick, which was the day after what you're seeing here, and then 4 days later, I got sick, and then about a day or 2 after that, another person fell, and that's kind of where we're currently standing, is about half of our household has gotten it. So now everybody's just kind of waiting for their turn to come, which is really unfortunate. But I decided to just go ahead and get some of these projects done. And like I said, very happy that I decided to do that, because otherwise these projects probably would have all ended up being chicken scraps. So I just de-seeded and deveined all of these hot peppers and loaded them into my dehydrator to dehydrate overnight. The next thing I decided to do was go ahead and just blend up these breadcrumbs, get these taken care of, and put them back into the freezer. I have a handful of freezer meals I want to make with these, but I'm not going to be doing that for a little bit, especially considering everybody is kind of going through a sick phase right now. The very next morning, I went ahead and got my turkey started, and this was some frozen celery from the garden, fresh baby carrots, a little bit of seasonings, kind of whatever you like to put on your turkey. And I let that roast and go ahead and work its way overnight, which worked out really, really well. And then my husband helped me pick all of that turkey meat off. We ended up eating it for dinner and then saving the rest of the turkey for these canning projects that I wanted to get done. So that was super great. once I got the turkey going, I went ahead and just blended up all those dehydrated peppers, put them in a mason jar, and added them to the back of my stove where all of my like homemade spices and herb mixes are, to be able to cook with in the future. Then I went ahead and started prepping all of my veggies for my canning project. One of my goals for Pantry Challenge was to can some meals in a jar. I really wanted to just kind of experiment with that a little bit. I'm still pretty new to pressure canning, so this is really just about like learning new skills for me and just trying to become more well-rounded. So we started with some of our homegrown potatoes, some of our homegrown shallots, and then I only had frozen peas. I decided to just do frozen peas instead of like a mixed vegetable for these turkey pot pie fillings, because I already have some canned carrots on the shelf. So we have learned we don't really love the canned carrots as much as I thought we were going to. They're fine to throw in like a soup or a stew or something, but they're still not our favorite. So we're gonna kind of save those and use those to throw in these pot pies and things. We don't really like the texture of them. I prefer a fresh carrot, which is good to know. I topped that with a ton of that shredded turkey that my husband shredded for me. And then you might remember during once month's grocery shopping, I got a couple cartons of this chicken broth. And a lot of you guys said you really, really, really enjoyed this chicken broth. We did not like it very much, so I decided this would be a good way to use it up, was just to top our turkey pot pie fillings with the chicken broth instead of topping it with water. Then I went ahead and debubbled these, got them loaded into the pressure canner, and we are canning these at 15 pounds of pressure for 90 minutes.